All right, so the first match was BJ versus Caleb. You guys actually were able to see that, or you guys, as in those who have not bought a pay per view ticket. So that one, I expected BJ to win, but I'm actually happy that Caleb won because Caleb was in his own corner. Nobody was in his corner. He had to motivate himself, and it was pretty evenly skilled, to be completely honest. But I think that Caleb's offense at the end of the day was just a little bit better, a little bit more consistent than BJ's. Not too much to say about it, but yeah, that one was exciting. The next one is Rob versus Tay, which I just got finished watching live. That has to be game of the night. I don't see any other 1v1 besides Lance and Beasley being as exciting as that. That went for like 50 minutes, and basically, you guys remember Bino versus Tay? So basically, what Tay did to Bino during Bino versus Tay is what Rob did to Tay in Rob versus Tay. Rob won. The score was 32-29. It was intense. Tay was up 21 and Rob was down 12. And I mean, it just looked like Tay's mid range game was crazy. His defense was crazy. He was giving Rob a very hard time. Rob made the adjustments, but to be honest, the adjustments even looked shaky. It was working for him. Tay could not close. He had 27 because Rob, adjusted on defense, but it just looked very shaky. It looked like Tay could have put it away at any point in time, despite the defense that Rob was playing. Rob went on a little run, and I think he even the scored. I believe it was 23-23 at one point in the game, and then Tay got it to 27-23. And then towards the very end of the game, when the score is 29-29, because so much time is going by, Tay is not closing and Rob is not hitting also. Um, Rob fouled Tay, and so he got a bucket, which counted, and then they sent him to the line. So he was gonna have a free throw, so the score would be 30-29. Tay missed the free throw, and then a couple possessions later, Rob just chucks the three, and he made it 32-29. Insane game, absolutely insane. Good performance on both of them, especially Isote. Isote looked super good. I think we gotta. He's debatably top five after that Rob performance. Rob, he needed to get himself going. A lot of talking to himself. Rob started off kind of slow, but then he went on two pretty good runs, and then Tay couldn't close. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't know if I'm Tay, I'm not sleeping tonight. But personally, the loss was to Rob. So, and then they had a pretty good moment of sportsmanship at the very end. So that was good to see. Yeah, I'm not sure what rim they're using, but it's cursed. Everybody has had a poorer shooting performance than what I'm used to seeing. So the next game, Kel versus Keon. Complete blowout, to be honest. 30-9, Keon won. At first, it was looking even. Kel was figuring it out. He was down seven. It was 7-0, but then he got the score 9-7. So 7 Kel, Keon 9. And I thought that's how the rest of the game was going to go. But honestly, Keon started adjusting and he was making his shots. And then Kel was getting good looks, but he just kept hitting back rim with his tray balls. So it is what it is. He took the loss pretty well as somebody who was down 23 could take it. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. For Moon versus Eli, I was watching Nas's accountability video in the background, and I had the audio off because I'm just like, I know Moon is going to win, and he won 30-13, almost as bad as Keon beat Kel, but somehow Kel looked more respectable than Eli. I mean, the chat was going crazy. They were like, come on, Eli, you're selling my bread. Somebody was like, if you bet on Eli, you deserve to be broke. And then somebody else was like, Castro versus Eli. Who do you got? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew there's no way that Moon was losing that one. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that one's just isn't Eli's thing, and that's why I was confused when this matchup came out. But Eli, I don't know, man. I think he's just like a fives player. And like compared to everybody on TNC, I don't think he's like up there in any particular category. But anyways, we're gonna lock in for the Cam versus Lat game. So Lat versus Cam. I'm just gonna say right now. I'll start off by saying that Cam won. It was extremely. He won, I believe, 30. Yeah, 30-28. I think Lat was up the entire game. It's super obvious that one, Lat is a lot more polished, and two, he was studying Cam's game. But the score was, I believe, 20-23 and then 28-20. And I was like, oh, okay, he got it. So, sort of like Tay versus Friga. And I was like, okay, Tay has the win. And then Friga made the 4 back-to-back threes and just barely stole the game. And that's kind of what Cam did. He made a 3, 2 layups, and then made a deep 3 for game. I didn't even trust the shot, but that shit just went in. Very tough loss for Lat because of, like, you can tell that, like, he felt that loss. I think it was emotional for him because he was very close to winning. He was up 28-20. He studied the game. Very, very polished player. He's obviously the more skilled player, but one thing that I will say is that all of his shots were very tough shots. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was that was like Cam snuck that win in there, and then he pulled out the belt. I'm like, bro, that is not belt to ass. You won by again. You barely won. Oh my gosh. But I mean, like you do feel happy for him. Like, you can also tell in the very first possession that you were seeing a Cam that just watched like the 85 points from Latin. And so I think Cam versus Moon, Cam versus Tay would be next. I think that we need to see Cam go like have a top 5 matchup for sure. Cam versus Scoob again, maybe, although Scoob did win that not too long ago. But yeah, and Lat places about where I thought that he was going to place, like around the Cam, around the Moon, you know, like the lower top 10 players, you know. But now we're going to get into the main event with Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson. All right, so the final game, which is live right now in the back of my headphones that I'm listening to. Uh-oh. Michael Beasley just said, we the motherfucking ones. You know what that means. Michael Beasley won. Now, about the actual game, Michael Beasley, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I have Lance Stevenson versus Nas going either way, right? And Nas is the number 1v1er. Just the difference between seeing 2 NBA players 1v1 versus like everybody else 1v1. I mean, the efficiency, the shot making abilities, the footwork, the bag work, just the competence. It's just on a whole nother level. And Michael Beasley was giving Lance the work most of the game. During the beginning, Lance was like not playing good defense. He wasn't playing great defense at the top of the key most possessions. But downhill defense was really good because obviously he has the wingspan advantage, and he was blocking Lance's shots a lot of the time. But Lance was also blocking Michael Beasley's shots as well. But just to give you an idea, I think the first 8, I think it was like 10-8 or whatever. Like it was close the first 10. Lance owes Michael Beasley some money because Beasley did get to 12 before Lance did, and not only that. The score was 29-13 at one point. The final score ended up being 31-21. Michael Beasley, obviously. Michael Beasley stayed calm and poised for most of the game. Lance he stalled the game like 5 different times. Nigga, Moon got in his face. He pushed Moon. He pushed a random person into the bleachers. I was like, bro. Also, it was kind of bizarre to me that they would call out like shoulder checking during Lat and Cam's game, but then they allowed like Lance to literally grab Michael Beasley with both hands like he was about to serve him some back shots. Hey, yo. But all in all, a great event. I think it went very well, and I can't wait to watch pay-per-view 3. That's how it went.